Today's mystery guest from Vassos Alexander.
Chris, I'm about to reveal today's mystery guest, after which you'll be required to conduct an interesting, stimulating, and if it calls for it, humorous 3-minute interview without any prior knowledge of the subject. Good luck, my friend.
Yes, Your Majesty.
We'll have hay fever this morning in anticipation of tomorrow's 500 Words live final at the Hay Festival. But before we make hay while the sun shines, let's talk about a more traditional form of hay fever. Yesterday, you surprised Lynn during her travel bulletin with a rather vigorous sneeze. The cause of this outburst was, of course, the pesky pollen that gets up all our noses. We're in our heyday, so your mystery guest today is on hand to give us some emergency tips to ease us through this weekend of outdoor events. She came into the studio last year to give you an allergy test, and this morning she's armed with advice to prevent the pollen from spoiling the party. Please welcome the Senior Registrar at the Department of Allergies at Guy's Hospital, Dr. Joanna Lukavska.
Dr. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you, Joe?
I am very well. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, thank you very much indeed. No, but I have been sneezing. What pollen is out and about this weekend?
So, you've got a double whammy this weekend because you've got the grasses that have started pollinating, and we are at the end of the tree pollen season. And in particular, the plain pollen has been very troublesome.
And how has all the, the deluge of water followed by the bright, bright sunshine, how has that affected the pollen givers?
Well, we have been rather lucky this spring because, as you said, the rain, the pollen levels have been quite low, but they've picked up now, and you've got a high, moderate to high forecast for this weekend. I don't know if you know about the Met Office website. They give a daily update of the pollen levels, and I've checked to see what's happening in Hay, where you'll be going tomorrow. The forecast is high, so that's over 50 grains per cubic meter.
Yeah.
And on Monday you will be in the Buckingham Palace.
That's right.
Right. And there won't be so bad, but you've got the, as I said, you've got the plain trees, not just pollinating, but also producing and irritating little seeds that are covered with hairs. So a lot of people have problems with that. The hair gets up your nose, they get into your eyes, they get into your airways, and it can produce very nasty symptoms. So it's not just the allergy, not just the hay fever, but also the irritation from the plain trees. And London is full of them, and in particular Green Park, where you will be next to.
So even the Queen's trees are pesky when it comes to pollen. This is terrible news! Oh my goodness!
I'm afraid so.
Here's my question, Dr. Joanna, my final question, if you don't mind. It's very useful that the Met Office put out those pollen counts, and it's thank you so much for informing of what the pollen's going to be like tomorrow and on Monday in the various places we're going to be broadcasting from. But what use are they? I mean, if the Met Office predict rain, we take our umbrella with us. If they predict more pollen, what can we do about it?
Well, there are simple measures you can introduce. So first, if you can afford not to, stay indoors till about midday, where the pollen levels drop.
Good.
That from days where you've got high, moderate to high pollination levels, you can use the pharmacological measures, so medical measures such as antihistamines, and you must use your antihistamine, preferably non-drowsy type, before you leave the house. So at least about half an hour before you leave the house.
And do you think they really work, those things?
Do they work? They work for people with mild to moderate symptoms.
Don't work for me.
No, you can add an intranasal steroid spray, but with that you need to start treating your nose for a good few days, preferably 2 weeks before the onset of the symptoms. The other sort of simple measures are, of course, wear a big hat and a wrap around the glasses. Some people put a little bit of Vaseline on on the nostrils, or use these filters. I don't know if you've heard about these little intranasal filters that are covered with mesh that are meant to stop the pollen getting up your nose. But I can't imagine you broadcasting from Buckingham Palace.
I sound bad enough as it is. Well, listen, Dr. Joe, thanks so much for being on the programme. And just in case people didn't tune in last year, just very quickly, if you don't mind, re-inform them of how allergic exactly I am to pollen.
You are very, very, very allergic. You're probably just about the most allergic person I've seen. Your whole arm was swollen from fingertips to beyond the elbows. So yes, you are very allergic.
Okay.
Very sensitive soul.
Tested for 5 allergies, and they all came up bumps, not trumps.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Joe. We'll talk to you next year.
Thanks.
Wonderful, Dr. Joe, clever lady, sharing her great matter with us.